Have you ever found yourself standing in the middle of your home, unsure where to begin, and feeling overwhelmed by the thought of letting go of possessions you've cherished for decades? For many seniors, decluttering isn't just about tidying up, it's a heartfelt journey filled with memories, stories, and emotions. Today, I want to share lessons I wish I had known before embarking on this path, hoping they will help you navigate the process with more ease and joy. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe for more thoughtful tips and inspiration tailored just for you. First and foremost, decluttering is deeply emotional, and that's completely normal. No one prepared me for the wave of feelings that would come while sorting through keepsakes, letters, and heirlooms. Each item seemed to whisper stories from the past, stirring joy, nostalgia, and sometimes bittersweet longing. I came to realize that these emotions are not obstacles, but part of the process. Embracing them, rather than avoiding them, can make the journey more meaningful. One thing that truly helped was creating a comforting environment to work in. Light a favorite candle, put on soft music that soothes your heart, or ask a trusted family member or friend to join you. The companionship not only provides support, but also turns the experience into something shared and memorable. I remember James, a neighbor of mine, who invited his grandson to help him go through old tools in the garage. What started as a task became a beautiful bonding moment filled with laughter and newfound stories. Another tip is to allow yourself the grace to pause. Decluttering is not a race. If something stirs deep emotion, it's okay to step back, have a cup of tea, or simply take a breath before continuing. I once met a woman who would take short walks whenever she felt overwhelmed. She said it helped her return to her task with a clearer head and a lighter heart. When I first began decluttering, I made the mistake of trying to tackle my entire home at once. The sheer enormity of the task left me feeling defeated before I even made real progress. It wasn't until later that I learned the value of starting small, focusing on one drawer, one shelf, or one corner at a time. This simple adjustment transformed the process from overwhelming to achievable. Think of decluttering as building a new habit. Start with areas that don't carry heavy emotional ties, like a bathroom cabinet or a junk drawer. Clearing a single space, no matter how small, creates a sense of accomplishment that fuels your motivation to keep going. I recall Margaret, a dear friend, who used a checklist to track her progress. She added stickers to each completed task, and seeing her progress visually brought her immense satisfaction. The key is consistency. Dedicate a specific time to decluttering, whether it's 15 minutes a day or an hour every weekend. Little by little, you'll find yourself gaining momentum. Even small victories, like organizing a dusty corner, can feel like monumental achievements when done with purpose and care. Before I began decluttering, I thought I had only two choices: keep everything or get rid of it all. That black and white thinking made the process feel daunting. But over time, I learned that decluttering is not about losing everything. It's about making thoughtful choices to keep what truly matters. I began asking myself simple, practical questions for each item. Does this bring me joy? Do I genuinely use it? Could someone else benefit from it more? These questions acted like a compass, guiding me through the emotional fog that often comes with letting go. For instance, I found a box of old kitchen gadgets, many of which I hadn't used in years. My daughter, Emily, helped me realize that someone starting a new home might find them far more useful than I did. We donated them together, and knowing they'd go to good use made it easier to part with them. For items I couldn't decide on, I created a maybe box. It was a safe space for uncertainty. I placed the items in this box and revisited it after 3 months. When I realized I hadn't thought about or needed those things during that time, it became clear they weren't essential to my life. This approach helped me avoid the regret of making hasty decisions. Sometimes letting go feels like letting go of memories, but it doesn't have to. I started taking photos of sentimental items before donating them. For example, my late husband's favorite hat was worn and no longer usable, but a photo of it now sits in a special album. This way, the memory remains while the physical clutter doesn't. A friend of mine, Karen, went a step further. She turned her old family t-shirts into a quilt. Every time she uses it, it's like a warm hug filled with memories of her children's younger years. Prioritizing also means understanding what fits your life now. I used to keep bookshelves overflowing with novels I'd read decades ago. While I treasured those stories, I realized they were gathering dust, and someone else could enjoy them instead. I kept a few favorites and donated the rest to the local library. That small act not only cleared my space, but also gave me a sense of fulfillment, knowing others would discover joy in those pages. Decluttering isn't about erasing the past, it's about honoring it in a way that aligns with your present. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you create room for new memories, experiences, and the things that truly matter. Decluttering can be overwhelming, but you don't have to do it alone. One of the most valuable lessons I learned was the power of asking for help. For years, I hesitated to involve others, thinking it was a burden. But when I finally reached out to my family, the process became not only easier, but also surprisingly enjoyable. My son, David, helped me go through my old collection of kitchen tools. He reminded me how much joy those items could bring to someone who truly needed them. We donated several boxes to a local charity, and I could see how much it meant to him to contribute to something meaningful together. These shared moments strengthened our bond, turning a daunting task into an opportunity for connection. If family isn't nearby, consider asking a trusted friend, neighbor, or even a professional organizer. My neighbor, Judy, hired a local organizer who helped her not only sort through her belongings, but also suggested creative ways to preserve sentimental items. For instance, Judy repurposed her old fabric swatches into decorative pillows, giving them a new life while keeping their emotional value intact. Another lesson I wish I'd known earlier was the importance of celebrating progress. When decluttering, it's easy to focus on what's left to do rather than how far you've come. I learned to pause and acknowledge each small victory, whether it was organizing a closet or clearing out a single shelf. One woman I met, Clara, kept a photo album of before and after shots of her spaces. Flipping through those pages gave her a sense of accomplishment and kept her motivated. Inspired by her idea, I began treating myself after each decluttering session a slice of my favorite pie or an extra hour in the garden. These little rewards made the process feel less like a chore and more like a journey worth celebrating. Remember, decluttering is not a race. It's okay to take breaks, adjust your approach, and revisit areas over time. Some seniors I've spoken to spent months working on one room at a time, and by the end, they felt a profound sense of peace and lightness. As you go through this process, keep the bigger picture in mind. Decluttering is about creating a space that supports your well-being and makes daily life easier. It's about leaving behind a legacy that reflects your values and ensures your cherished items find their way into the hands of those who will treasure them. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this video inspired or helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel for more tips on living your best senior life. Until next time, take care and happy decluttering.